Jay, you were a three-sport athlete at East Catholic High School: basketball, baseball, football. What made you choose to pursue basketball at the next level?
What made me pursue basketball at the next level was I always played basketball the longest out of all three. I love the game. It's always the easiest sport to play. Yeah, that's about it. What kind of transition was it going from Loyola, Maryland to Eastern?
Weather was different. I don't know if there was a huge transition. I mean, obviously an opportunity to run my own program, so you go from being an assistant to now the head coach. So clearly that's a difference. I mean, you're now making the final decision as opposed to, making suggestions. But, found it to be a relatively smooth transition. What played a role in your decision to attend Eastern? What other schools did you consider?
I considered not playing at all and going to UConn. I applied to University of New Haven, and pretty much Eastern. That's about it. What made me come to Eastern? It's close to home, close drive. I live in Hartford, Connecticut. It's a great school. I've always heard positive things about it. My brother, Justin Nunez, came here 4 years. So he always gave me a positive experience back about the school. So that was the main reason why I chose Eastern. What do you think has changed about your coaching style since your first year as a head coach?
It's a great question. That's a good question. I don't know if a ton has changed. I think as a young head coach, you're sometimes always thinking that more is better. More practice, more this, more that. I think as I've gained experience as a head coach, I think sometimes less is more. Especially when we get into January and February and we're grinding it out in conference play. Sometimes it's not always productive to have a 2-hour practice at that point. So I think I've tapered off, probably some of our intensities as far as practice later in the year. I think that's one of the biggest adjustments that I see myself make. What adjustments did you have to make going from high school basketball to college basketball?
The transition to high school to college is through the roof. Just the intensity every day. I played basketball at East Catholic High School, so they run a great program over there, Coach Riley. He tries to set our program as best possible as he can to resemble a college program. But the transition is through the roof. The amount of plays, and you have to be here, you have to be there at a certain time. As a freshman coming in, you're looking at it and you're like, wow, I gotta do this, and sometimes your mind starts to circle and lose it, but you just gotta regain focus and take one day at a time and just get better through the days. Do you remember the first time seeing me play? What were some of your initial expectations / worries about me as a player?
I mean, I think, being at East Catholic and having, Justin play here, I mean, I think we saw you early. It was probably your freshman or sophomore year. And I think my impressions were, geez, you were, very similar to your brother, tenacious defensively, always competing, a guy that is going to do whatever is needed each and every possession on the court in order for his team to be successful. Very unselfish. I think the concerns, probably, once again, certain matchups if you're out on the court and, from a size standpoint, if there's, a mismatch and we're playing against a big physical guard, how do we overcome? How do we make adjustments to, overcome and try to turn that into a positive? kid. What do you remember of your first practice at Eastern? What impressions did you have of the players and myself as a coach?
My first practice as a Warrior, my freshman year I was a walk-on, so I wasn't technically on the team. It was the first tryout. I was coming in just trying to make a stand of myself. I knew I had 2 days, so I was coming in a little nervous, not knowing what to expect. The team atmosphere was always great. I knew a couple older guys, so they always brought me in. Trey, Tarshi Brown, Hugh Lindo, Dave Caney, they all were supportive and about me. But the first day, it was a rough one.
How did you do on the fitness test?
I failed the fitness test. They got me on the last one.
You hear that, Sharon?
Failed the sixth one, but what kind of progress have you seen in me as a player over these 4 years?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've really grown as a player. I mean, I think, like you said, you came in as a walk-on and, someone trying to find their way, to now, and this year we're, 4 days in, and, I think you feel much more confident out there. You're showing leadership skills and abilities. I think you've gotten stronger. So I think that's helped you both offensively and defensively. So I think those are all things that have evolved in your game. Just your mental and physical approach to the game. Every day, bringing intensity, but never wavering in, what's most important, and that is it's all about the team. So I think that's, been your greatest, attributes. And you bring passion every day, and that's been great. What has been your highest and lowest moment as a player for Eastern?
Start with my I would say my lowest moment as a Warrior was when I tore my meniscus in my right knee. It was 4 weeks coming into the season. It was about the time where we were going. So that was a tough time for me, going through the doctors and hearing where I had to go through surgery right before the season. Didn't know how long because the injury was either 4 to 6 months, or 4 to 6 weeks or a couple of months. So that was stressing me out, but it all worked out, ended up working out for me. My highest obviously was the winning back-to-back LECs. That's something hard to do in a conference that we play in, especially versus the teams and the organizations that we play. We try to set up our schedule as the toughest we can to prepare us for those moments. So I would say that was definitely my highest. What moments, good or bad, stand out in your years as a coach for Eastern?
I think that the good moments, I think there's been, good moments that don't really, pertain to basketballs and basketball and wins and losses. Seeing some of the guys come through the program and grow and mature off the court, go on to graduate, and now are out as productive citizens and, are married and have little kids of their own. I mean, I think that as a coach, you take, great pride in that and seeing guys that, you've went to battle with for 4 years and had a ton of ups and downs, but now that they've gone on and like I said, have a degree and now are productive citizens, those I think are probably some of the highest moments. Clearly, specifically over the last 7 or 8 years, we've had a ton of huge wins, and those are good moments. Some of the low moments, I think as a coach you find frustration and have, low moments when you see guys that don't reach their potential. I think that's, something that is very frustrating for me to see, guys that have a ton of potential both academically and athletically, but for whatever reason, don't allow themselves to reach that potential. That's a frustrating thing for me. What's your attitude going into your senior season?
My attitude going into the senior season is just trying to lead the young guys. We got 6 young freshmen coming in, so just trying to help them day in, day out. Because about the program, it's all about the older guys teaching the young guys how it works around here. So just like the older guys did to me. So I just want to resemble that on the way down. Attitude is just how it's always been. Go out there every day, give it my all. Give everything. This is my last year. Last year, so gotta give it all. I gotta have no regrets coming out of this season. So yeah. What are your expectations for this season?
I'm excited about the year. I mean, we're 4 days in, so obviously we've got a long ways to go. But I think our motto, and I'm sure you know it, is to come every day and work hard and get a little better individually and collectively. And if this group buys into that and we continue to do that, I think by the end we're going to be a pretty good team. I'm excited. We've got a good mix of returners that have gone through some of the battles in the conference and some of the strong non-conference teams that we have on our schedule. They know what to expect. And I think our group, like you said, our older guys do a good job of sharing with the young guys the ups and downs and how long the season is. And I think if we stay together and we stay strong in some of those little valleys that we go into as a team, which all teams do, by the end, this is going to be a pretty good group. We've got some talented young guys that their heads are spinning right now and they're trying to figure things out. But if they stay together and we stay strong, I'm excited about the group. My turn.
Mm-hmm.
What are your plans after college?
My plans after college, I don't really know yet. I'm majoring in sociology with a minor of criminology. Haven't really thought about it yet. I'm trying to enjoy the year. I know it comes quick, but we'll see when it comes. Just trying to enjoy the year, really, not really thinking about the future yet. Just trying to stay in the present. More wins than any other basketball coach Eastern has had. 5 NCAA tournament appearances, 3-time LEC champion. What else are you looking to achieve as a coach for Eastern?
I think I got into coaching because I had such a great relationship with my college coach, and he had such an impact on me and my values and how I approach adversity. So I guess I'm not necessarily looking. I mean, I think the wins and the losses are all part of the process. Really just trying to continue to attract quality student athletes to Eastern that understand that this is a great place with a ton of great people, and just trying to get guys to reach their potential, both academically and athletically, and then ultimately as citizens. So. Continue to do that. Like I said, we've got a bunch of young guys that I think are really talented, both academically and athletically, and just, hopefully be a role model for them and push and motivate those guys, to reach their potential. So I think if you do that and you create a culture of, team first and self-sacrifice and hard work, those wins and conference championships and NCAA tournaments are just all a byproduct of that stuff. And then seeing you graduate and go out and get a job. I think that's a wrap.
I think so. Oh wait, I got one more.
Oh. Come on, Jay.
Take me back to Geitner as a player. Hamilton College, 1987.
Oh boy.
What does a game of one-on-one look between you and me?
Oh boy, that's a good question. I think that there's some similarities there. I mean, I think we were, both tough-minded. Defense. I couldn't score, so one-on-one I never really enjoyed. I needed guys I could pass to. So I'm not sure. I'd have to give you a step a little bit, a little quicker, especially if you were to play right now. I think it would be a good battle. We'd have fun.
Yeah, we would.